Yo, what is up, it's your boy JadeJonny back here in Perrim's Underworld, and today I want to have a little discussion, right? Because I think the chaotic community has kind of gaslit itself into believing that more has happened, in the announcement wise than what has actually happened. And I'm gonna start off by saying, like, this whole entire thing, right? Like this entire thing, right? The licensing expos, the cocktail events, the toy fairs, none of those are public events. They are not public-facing events. You should never expect an announcement coming out of those. Sometimes there'll be some certain booths will have different kind of niche things where it's like we have a new statue or a new poster there. But overall, those are just things where, people can say, hey, this is what we're working on. This is like the kind of merchandising that we're going to be rolling out. Work with us is what licensing expos and stuff like that is for. So you shouldn't be expecting chaotic news out of those. If you are, then that's foolish. That shouldn't be an expectation you have when Ganon announces he's going to a licensing expo. That's not what expos are for. So yeah, that's that, right? Sorry, I just realized that I'm not subscribed to Codemaster Hard Rock, and I don't think I'm subscribed to Chaotic Red on the Perrim's Underworld channel because I only watch YouTube on my main channel, so I don't really subscribe to stuff like that on that way. Whatever. Anyways, yeah. So you shouldn't have that expectation that you're going to that you're going to hear something out of that. I don't think that should ever be counted against Ganon as being a missed announcement, quote unquote. I don't think that should ever be counted against him. But that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the times that he has announced something. I'm not going to be including the Comic-Con thing because obviously that's everywhere right now. You can't take a breath in the chaotic community without hearing about it. So let's just go ahead and focus on what we do have right, or what we have heard before this, right? So I'm gonna play clips. I tried to do this with me editing stuff and doing that, but it got to the point where I was waiting for 16 hours for the video to render, and I was just like, I'm just gonna re-record this, and I'm just gonna do it live, because at that point, if you're not gonna render, then I don't know what you want from me, Anyways, let's go ahead and get into clip number 1. This is going to be Hard Rock asking Ganon how production is going, and he is going to mention a specific timeline during this. So let's go ahead and start.
Perfect.
All right.
We met in person. We'd spoken before then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this being round 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just go in order. In what stage would you say Chaotic's relaunch is sitting at right now?
We're at a tipping point. We had a great licensing show. If you'll notice, I did not put anything out on social media on purpose.
Yep.
Our agent, Epic Story Media, had a fantastic licensing show for them. They landed up doing a couple of deals for their products. They landed some more animation work.
Ooh, fantastic.
And it's safe to say that Chaotic had a lot of the same interest. We've signed some non-disclosure documents, and we're in the process of looking at a brand new partner to help us, and we're probably 2 or 3 weeks away from finalizing that, and until then I can't say, but it looks promising.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so he mentions that he's 2 or 3 weeks away from finalizing a partnership with a partner. 2 or 3 weeks away from finalizing a partnership isn't a real timeline. So obviously this shouldn't be counted against him, because it's just him saying we're only a couple weeks away from finalizing the timeline. Now there is a couple other points in this video that I do want to go over, because he does bring up multiple timelines throughout the course of this video, and I feel like we should discuss each one. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead and jump over here to 1054 for anybody who wants the timestamps for when these timelines are brought up, in case you want to see if I'm lying or anything like that, right? 1054 right here. We're at 1053. I'm gonna go ahead and press play, and we're gonna get into, I believe this is where he says he's a year out, but I could be wrong. Let's play it. No, this is the COVID one. This is the COVID portion. This is where he talks about how COVID put a halt to almost everything. So let's go ahead and press play now.
That's it?
Yeah.
Is there anything that I could show my audience either during this video or afterwards to kind of not only set the record straight, but kind of show this is what's coming out, get excited?
Yeah, well, I think we talked about it before. COVID put a big strain in everything for us. It knocked everything back a little bit. The people who were doing deals weren't doing deals. licensing show was put on the back burner. Toy Fair was put on the back burner. Trading cards really took off. Streaming really took off. That's been a positive influence for us. So, Bakugan is seeing a little bit of resurgence. Obviously, Pokemon and Magic have just maintained their strong growth. Yu-Gi-Oh's found the slot. So we're finding a lot of people want Chaotic to come back besides us.
Right.
I mean, obviously we wanted to, but there seems to be a good possibility of that now. So everything's picking up. If we sign this new partner that I believe we will, I think you'll find 4 or 5 portions of the Chaotic family coming back on the schedule.
Who would you?
So, right there, he talks about how COVID put a halt to Chaotic's production. I feel like a lot of people think that they didn't, or that Chaotic has been like going steady for like the last 6 years trying to get partners. And here we hear directly from Ganon, this was put on hold. We couldn't go to toy fairs, we couldn't go to licensing expos, we couldn't look at for those partners in those like crucial locations. So I feel like a lot of people think that this has been a 6-year just straight like shot, and Ganon is just doing nothing. But there were 2 years where everything was just shut down. A lot of like the companies that did introduced TCGs through established forms, such as Bandai introducing Dragon Ball. Closer to the end of COVID's like pandemic, we got One Piece, and I feel like Bakugan being produced by it's not Mattel. I don't think it's Mattel. It might have been Mattel. I can't remember. But they were established companies producing card games. So I think the only like major TCG that entered the market was MetaZoo. And the amount, the backers that MetaZoo had, it just feels like that was like its own unique special circumstance. I don't think many other TCGs entered the market, to the level of success that like Ganon expects to Chaotic to during COVID. So it wasn't just a straight shot. And like he says right here, this, we were put on hold for that. So next up, we're gonna go ahead and go to this clip where Ganon talks about an announcement within a year. Nobody talks about this clip for good reason, in my opinion. I don't think this clip is literally just him saying there won't be an announcement. The earliest an announcement would happen would be a year. And the earliest specification on the earliest, this video was recorded in 2022. So the earliest the announcement would come out would be 2023. The earliest. So let's go ahead and start playing this now.
Cup ride, and it's just a music.
No. It'd be more of an adventure.
I like that. How likely is it that we'll see Chaotic within a year? With all the craziness that's been in the world lately, I'm not shocked that, production has been slow. That just comes with the territory, that's part of it. But with more people getting into a newcomer seeing the return, especially lately with me cosplaying as Chaor the Fierce and being recognized by kids, kids like not even 10 years old, the fact that there are people who are interested in that is becoming bigger than I personally expected, and those people are hungry for something. So how likely would it be if we could see Chaotic within a year?
I think a year would be the fastest we'll see it. Based on the new partners that we're talking to, they're going to want to make sure that we do this correctly. They'll build on what we've already been doing.
Sure.
And I think a year would be probably the fastest.
I shared my designs with you for what a full.
So right there, we hear a year is going to be the fastest, and the partners will come in and they'll want to do more. It makes sense that like with the issues with the previous partner from the October video that we'll get into later, that obviously things were probably held up at some point. Maybe a partner didn't sign that they expected to sign or something like that. But clearly there was a delay because obviously the game, we did not get an announcement within the last 2 years, right? So that is to say clearly that was another timeline that was given, was a year would be the earliest announcement would happen. But again, I want to put extra emphasis on the word earliest. Earliest could mean it could be then, it could be 2 years down the line. There is no definition of how much time has to pass before earliest starts being impossibility, you know what I mean? So that being said, we have one last clip from this video, so let's go ahead and jump over into it. It is 2019, so let's go ahead and jump over to 2019 all the way at the end of this video.
Anything that you can share with my audience right now to hopefully quench their thirst and to have them stop shooting me messages at 3 a.m.
Yeah, we had a very successful licensing show. We have a very serious partner who has made a proposal to us. We're looking over that proposal. We're answering questions back and forth. It's a high likelihood that we will team up with that partner and make an announcement in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But it'll just be that we have signed with this partner.
Right.
And then they'll roll out together with us what we're going to do.
Interesting. Well, okay then.
So right there, we hear that Ganon says that we're going to have an announcement within the next 2 to 3 weeks, or 3 to 4 weeks. I think he says 3 to 4 weeks in this portion. And it would just be that we'd have a partner. We'd be announcing that we had a partner. I can't find the announcement saying that they had a partner sign in this time period, so I'm assuming that either the partner didn't sign or the partner wanted to stay private. So clearly we didn't hear anything. But again, the announcement was just going to be that they got the partner. It wasn't going to be, we have a product announcement, we're dropping the game tomorrow. It was always going to be, we signed with this partner and we'll have a future plan for you in the future. It was always just going to be that. There was no announcement ever scheduled for this video. Nothing was ever said in this video for a specific timeline. I think a lot of players kind of gaslit themselves into thinking that there was supposed to be an announcement in a year or something like that, and that was just not the case. So next up, we have, chronologically in the order, the July 2023 announcement. I think a lot of players remember seeing the word July and thinking that we were supposed to have an announcement in 2023, and that was never the case. So here's the not excitingly incredible news from my chat with Ganon today. This comes from Bulba, obviously. This is a screenshot using the Discord. The Discord search function. So the bottom one is going to be the first message, and the top one is going to be the message that came shortly afterwards. So in this event, it was 2 weeks afterwards, but still, it's shortly afterwards. So start off. All right, so here's the not incredibly exciting news from my chat with Ganon today. As far as time frame go, it's impossible to say for sure, but the time he's hoping they'll be really getting the ball rolling with their licensing partner by July. They're basically playing a waiting game at this point, waiting on them to finish up their current card game project. So for starters, there is no words in here that say the word announcement. This is him saying that they're hoping that by July they'll have the licensing partner will be ready to start production, or they'll be able to start getting the production set up. No word in here. Not a single word in here. Not a single word in here says the word announcement. I don't know where players got the word announcement from. I think players just either don't have good reading comprehension, or they just don't like or they just want to complain, because there's no announcement in here. The messages was not edited either. I didn't take a full screenshot of this message because it's literally an entire page, if not longer, long, because there's more than just this covered in that conversation. But yeah, no, there no announcement was ever said here. And even if we go up here, Bulba says 2 weeks later, Bulba said, yeah, Ganon casually mentioned in a conversation with who was essentially a stranger that he's looking at July tentatively. I'd take that with a grain of salt personally. So yeah, that's the thing. We're gonna go ahead and cut over to the next thing the Bulba's talked to, and then this is later on in 2023. I think this is July. Yeah, it's July. Sorry, it's a really small up here. But this is July 2023. And he says, I have 2 things to say. Here's the first quote in January. As far as the time frame goes, it's impossible to say for sure, but this time around, he's hoping they'll be able to get the raw ball rolling. Never once again did it say there's no such promise of an announcement being made in July. Players gaslit themselves into thinking there was an announcement in July. Never once did he say that. But then he also has a screenshot from a text message with Ganon that he sent, and he was like, is there anything you could share briefly? He was like, we are working towards announcements in the fall. Working towards is not an announcement of an announcement. It is saying that is the goal that they have set for themselves, that they are working towards that as the goal. That is not him saying there will be an announcement. That is him saying that there will be a goal. If I say that I am working towards losing 20 pounds by the end of the month, that is not an announcement of me saying I have lost 20 pounds by the end of the month. That is the announcement of me saying that my goal is working towards losing 20 pounds by the end of the month. If you guys know an exercise that will make me lose 20 pounds by the end of the month, please let me know. But still, that is not a very clearly not him saying there will be an announcement in the fall. It is him saying that he's working towards an announcement in the fall. I think this is more just seeing the word announcement in fall and thinking that that's what it was going to be. But I mean, That's not what it says. So, that being said, we do have a couple more screenshots I want to go over. Here is actually, hold on, I actually have for that one, I have a video. I have the video pulled up because I want to play something that Red says during this. So, when can we expect an official announcement about Chaotic's return? We're giving ourselves a deadline in the middle of September to October to come out with our product announcement and what we're doing. So deadlines can frequently get pushed back. They can get delayed. They can get that there. This isn't an announcement of an announcement. It's him saying like this is the deadline that we're giving ourselves, similar to the fall, much similar to this fall statement. This is him saying that this is the deadline we're trying to set. I think when it comes to this, it's a little less excusable than it is with this, because it gives a much more specific time frame. But also, we have to remember that later on we did get a message from Gannon on LinkedIn from a member of the community, asking, "Hey man, like what is the delay?" And he's like, we're waiting on documents back from the to be returned to him, and that lined up with something that Rudd said in his Christmas stream, where he talked about how that the company that they were trying to partner with, that Chaotic was trying to partner with, wanted more of the IP than Chaotic was initially offering. So I can't necessarily blame Gannon for this delay, very specifically because of the fact that if a partner is slow rolling you, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. If you want to set a timeline and then you're like, okay, well, I need this partner to sign this contract within a certain amount of time period to get this time frame out still, if they slow roll you, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, right? Like if I want to work with Rudd, and just as an example, right, if I wanted to do a video with Rudd, right, and Rudd was like, and I would like message him and be like, hey man, when do you want to schedule it? And I tell the community, hey, I'm trying to work with Rudd, and this is when I'm hoping that we'll be able to have that done. And Rudd, doesn't get back to me for 4 months, and in that time period, we pass the point where I say I'm gonna work with Rudd. Then it's kind of like, can you really blame me not for working with Rudd if the other company isn't, or in this case, I guess Gannon would look for it. You get what I mean, right? You get what I mean. You get what I'm trying to say. In this case, I think we need to give Gannon some leeway. I think it is kind of messed up that he gave us a timeline, but I mean, like, at the same time, like, he's been, being bothered about this for 6 years now, more than 6 years, because I've seen messages dating back to 2016, 2015. I mean, I've talked to people who've corresponded with him back in 2013. So, it really is, in this specific case, I mean, yes, he gave us a time frame. This is the first time where we got an objective time frame. But I mean, if the partner had worked with him or had been a lot more reasonable about their expectations, then he would have had that out. But anyways, I do want to play something that Rudd says, because I feel like a lot of community members forget that this is something. And I love Rudd for voicing this, because I mean, it's not something that a lot of people tend to either remember or care about. So let's go ahead and just play this little brief statement from Rudd, okay? Because if Rudd can say it and I can say it, I think you guys should hear it.
Just to add to that, I will say, for those that are kind of tired of the hype train, going back and forth for all these years, I will say he himself has never put out anything official, and anything that has sort of stirred our excitement has been on his private social media platforms, and not meant to drum up the excitement of fans. But this is the first time that, at least through my channel, he has shared something as concrete as a date where we can expect something official. So huge news to me, and I'm super excited. And we're gonna have a huge party October 1st, or whenever that announcement comes out.
So I don't need to add to that. I think Rudd said it best there. So this is why the whole thing about the Comic-Con stuff is special, right? Because this is the first time that he's posted an actual location to open to the public. Like I said, at the start of the video, Licensing Expo is not open to the public. The toy fairs are not open to the public. This is a open convention hall. The first time Chaotic will be at at Comic-Con in nearly 15 years, if not more than 15 years. I think that this is a huge turning point for Chaotic's expectancy, and the fact that he's announced that he's going to be announcing something at such a large venue. I think this is something that Chaotic fans really should be hyped about, really should be excited about. I think you should temper your expectations, especially because Hard Rock has already said this is just a announcement of what's to expect about the upcoming future. For all we know, this could be an announcement saying, hey, we have all the partners we need now. Now it's like crowdfunding, or now we're just like getting funding together, or, you know, we're starting production, and here's a time frame in which we're hoping to have more news for you. That's honestly what I'm expecting, as something similar to that. But who knows? We don't know. So let's just hope that this goes well. And I mean, as Chaotic fans, as Chaotic players, I think that we should be excited about this. This is great news for us, and this is great for Ganon. This is great for all of us. So I think this is a huge turning point in the future of Chaotic, and I am personally happy to be here for it. I'm personally excited to share all of this with you guys, because I think this is such an amazing, moment for the community. So that being said, I have been JadeJonny. I'm going to get back into playing the game, uploading videos of me playing the game, etc. And if you guys didn't see that I'm actually doing a giveaway, all you have to do is go to the video linked in the comment section down below, and comment in the video, your favorite your favorite creature in Perrim, and subscribe. And that's all you got to do to enter in the giveaway. Honestly, Loki, I can't even force you to subscribe if it doesn't tell me if you guys subscribe, if your subscriptions are private. So if you just comment your favorite creature, then you guys will be entered into the giveaway, and it is international. It is a worldwide giveaway, bar anything involving politics that would prevent me from shipping out mail, because that has happened before. So just go ahead and go to the comment section down below, comment on the and click the video, comment on the video, and then I'll be doing that giveaway announcement on July 11th. Hopefully July 11th. It may be like through Twitter or Discord where I end up announcing it, just based off circumstances. It just may. Yeah, well, whatever. But yeah, the giveaway. So, go to the giveaway. That being said, I've been JadeJonny. Let's get excited for Chaotic coming back to Comic-Con, and I will be seeing you guys later in another video. Let's port to Perrim.